Well, I'm sitting over here at Giant Tiger waiting for the bus to show up, and we're going to the vape rally. Here's everybody.
Yeah, she told me when she lived with me. I just 10 o'clock at night she got home.
I might all go with vape, but you're supposed to bring your vape, bring the lowest one. But if you do.
Hells yeah. But the holes are such it doesn't matter. You don't have to do anything. That's like, you don't have to do any adjustment to the one.
Gotta keep it going, right?
You're not doing a video, are you?
Yes, I am.
All right, everybody. I'm going to say, as you guys know, we're here downtown Toronto. Just, you know, trying to say our piece because, you know, we as vapors, we've got to stick together. You got to have it.
Yeah, boys. Looks like a bus for you guys. All right. Thank you very much for coming.
Hey, Michael, Bam, come to the stage. Michael?
Yeah, just you go. Hopefully
Hang back.
Yeah, if I don't see you, you know.
Take care, buddy.
signs.
Get a hold of me.
I will.
There's a lot of signs up at the front, too, guys.
Yeah, that got it underneath.
He has an
Gonna be shooting for my shop. So.
Alright, yeah, not there yet. We're worried about this.
You want to sign? What? They're handing them up.
Oh, yeah.
Like one of those.
I was there, I swear. I want to be on yesterday.
People well into their seats. Sorry if I pointed over you. It stands to reason that in a crowd like this, we have very different beliefs, different creeds, customs, especially different political opinions and affiliations. So to say that we have one voice, that can't possibly be true. The way I see it, we have but two things in common amongst all of us. The first is that we were all regular cigarette smokers. With support from the vaping industry, our local vape shops, our friends, our families, most importantly, with the help of electronic cigarettes, we, for the most part, are not cigarette smokers anymore. We've quit smoking altogether. Thank you. And if you haven't, that's okay. We still drastically reduce the amount of cigarettes we smoke every day. I myself, I haven't touched a cigarette in nearly 5 years, after almost a decade of smoking every day. Thank you. Woo! The second thing we have in common, is the knowledge that, ironically, on this, the 10th anniversary of the Smoke-Free Ontario Act, the Smoke-Free Ontario Act has failed. One more time, repeat. The Smoke-Free Ontario Act has failed! Yes, indeed, everyone. The government every year spends millions of dollars on the Smoke-Free Ontario budget to reduce the amount of smokers and, in turn, the amount of smoke-related deaths and disease. Most agree with this spending wholeheartedly, that smokers do deserve a lower risk alternative to traditional smoking. However, an unamended Bill 45 passed into law as written will certainly destroy the most significant development of public health with respect to these anti-smoking efforts that, frankly, the world has ever seen. Bill 45 45 effectively ends regulated vaping in Ontario, the entire industry, and it sets a dangerous precedent for other provinces and other nations. So to this we say, the Smoke-Free Ontario Act has failed. Thank you. The act was designated to significantly reduce tobacco use and lower health risks to non-smokers in Ontario. The act aims to protect the health of all Ontarians by prohibiting smoking and encouraging means to quit. Though the science proves without a doubt, through their lack of research and consideration, to effectively end the best chance the Smoke-Free Ontario Act has to succeed. So to this we say, the Smoke-Free Ontario Act has failed. Smoking is the #1 cause of death and preventable disease in Ontario. It kills nearly 13,000 people every year. Though tens of thousands of Ontarians have quit smoking and begun benefiting from the benefits that vaping provides, Bill 45 puts an end to this development by limiting access and the education, the promotion. To this we say, the Smoke-Free Ontario Act has failed. There is no scientific evidence to suggest that vaping produces harm to either the vapor or to secondhand passerbys. At the Health Ministry's request, we conducted ourselves and presented a comprehensive air quality study by Ontario's top analytic lab. It showed no exposure limits even close to the NIOSH occupational health concerns. And our elected officials chose not to even review or consider this data. So we say, once again, the Smoke-Free Ontario Act has failed. But this bill as written isn't just a threat to public health, it's an economic disaster. It's not only a threat to the improvements that vaping has made to public health. In the past 5 years, the vaping industry has given in Ontario an economic boost like no other. Hundreds of great vape shops across the country and the province employ hundreds of more Canadians. Most of you here, some of you here, maybe not most. We pay at least above the national minimum wage requirement, and if we don't, we should. Nearly across the board. My company alone employs over 22 Ontario residents, and we're responsible for the primary income of at least 18 families. These vaping businesses, our businesses, our livelihoods, we pay our corporate taxes on time, all of us. We pay all of our corporate responsibility, all the fees that go along with it. If we could take everything we're doing today, all this money, all this energy to do things like this today and invest them, put our profits back into research, we can make vaping even more successful, even more effective than it already is. By ignoring all these facts, Honourable Minister Damerla, you are not just sentencing ex-smokers back to their cancerous habits. You're crippling Ontario's economy to the tunes of tens of millions of dollars every year. To this we say, the Smoke-Free Ontario Act has failed. There is hope, however. We, for the most part, are not politicians. We're just concerned Canadians. We're residents of one of the most forward-thinking provinces in the country. The rest of Canada is looking to us right now for guidance, especially when it comes to public health. All we ask, ministers, is that you correct your mistakes. You're human, just like us. We understand there are pressures from outside forces, these organizations, tobacco companies, pharmaceutical companies. We understand, and mistakes were made. We're offering our help, our support. Please do not allow Bill 45 to pass as written. Sit down with us again. Truly listen to what we have to say. Review the evidence, review the science. Don't just look at it and pass it on. Take it in. Understand why organizations like the Canadian Cancer Society and the Heart and Stroke Foundation want to regulate vaping out of existence. There's a reason. Do these things so that at the 20th anniversary of the Smoke-Free Ontario Act, we can proudly say the Smoke-Free Ontario Act has succeeded. You have the power to be on the right side of history, as you politicians like to say. The biggest improvement to public health, the epidemic that we call tobacco use. Make the right decisions and make them for the right reasons. Thank you. At this time, thank you everyone for your support. We'd like to invite Dave Duick to the stage. He has a very important message. What Dave will be reading is a a message right from MPP Randy Hillier himself. He couldn't join us today, so I can think of no better man to take over.
We are saddened that he could not attend with us, but I'm very proud to have the distinction of reading a speech from our good friend, our one friend in government, Mr. Randy Hillier. I was very pleased when I heard about this rally was being organized. And I'm very disappointed I had other things scheduled in my riding that prevent me from being here and vaping with you. As you know, when Bill 45 was voted on during the third reading, of the 100 members in the House that day, 99 voted in favor and 1 did not. But a few short months ago, many MPPs are having second thoughts about how they voted. And many have changed their view. But there is one person who has not changed their view and has no reservation about his vote. I oppose Schedule 3 of Bill 45 as strongly today as I did in May. Rather than accepting the science and championing a game changer in the fight against smoking-related illness, which costs our healthcare system billions of dollars and the loss of countless lives, this Liberal government would rather stick to their governing from the activist center rhetoric and punish and limit those actively making a healthier choice for both themselves and their families. The placement of vaporizer technology as a tobacco product in the Smoke-Free Ontario Act via Schedule 3 of Bill 45 is not only ignorant of the facts, a step backwards in the fight against smoking-related illness, it's also a disservice to the people of Ontario and their health. All that said, you here today and all the other people of Ontario have a voice. And when that voice is loud enough, it can and will make a difference. Even in Kathleen Wynne's Ontario. We saw this month the Liberals back down from their proposed municipal land transfer tax extension. And earlier in the year, their commitment to finally address the long-standing issues with Lyme disease in this province after thousands of signatures on petitions and innumerable complaints from every corner of the province came flooding in. Together, we can make a difference. And I applaud all of you for coming out and having your voice heard. I encourage all of you to continue to advocate against the government's attack on vaping and healthier choices. Together we can and will stop the Liberals and Schedule 3 of Bill 45 and make a real, positive change for the health of all Ontario. Thank you, Randy Hillier.
That was fantastic. Thank you so much, Dave. Everyone else, we'd like to remind you, politicians these days, they do a lot of work on social media. It really helps them a lot. Be sure to share with Randy how much you appreciated his message today and everything he does for us, please.
So our next speaker today is David Richmond Peck. Let's shout out for David Richmond Peck. Woo!
No, see, I told you, fine, okay.
Protesting. 42 years old, I'm doing one protest. I'm not even sure I know how to protest. I'm a father, I'm a husband, and I'm a proud Canadian citizen. This past year, I watched tobacco-laden cancer, the product that take each and every ounce of life of one of the most important women in the world to me. The woman I called every day without fail. I watched her become unable to speak. I watched her become unable to get out of bed. I smiled and I assured her that I was okay. As she laid there crippled and helpless as her equipment mucus onto her clothing. I watched her muscles deteriorate. I watched her face become gaunt and unrecognizable. I watched cancer caused by 50 years of smoking turn me into a man who wished his mother, this woman that I looked up to, this woman that I called every day, turn me into a man who begged for her life to end so she and the rest of us could find peace. I'm not a protester. I salute the Honorable Depika Demerla, Associate Minister of Health and Long-Term Care and Wellness. I salute her efforts to help lead Canadians into making healthier choices. I think appropriate legislation is necessary, but I'm a citizen with questions. We're approaching the 10th anniversary of Smoke-Free Ontario, a strategy to combine programs to help smokers quit, protect people from secondhand smoke, and encourage young people never to start. And approaching this anniversary, Bill 45 has banned the sale of flavored tobacco products, including menthol cigarettes. All steps in the right direction to fight big tobacco, or are they? On the approaching 10th anniversary of Smoke-Free Ontario, the Honourable Depika Demerla and the Honourable Premier Kathleen Wynne have given big tobacco, an industry that causes the death of 37,000 Canadians each year, that produces $1.1 billion in tax revenues for Ontario, essentially a reprieve from Bill 45, a reprieve on the ban of menthol, while at the same time crippling Canada's growing e-cigarette industry by preventing store owners from detailing their products. An industry and a product that's now proved to be the #1 smoking cessation device on the planet. By the way, 5% of adults in Canada that smoke menthol cigarettes. 29% of youth in Canada that smoke menthol cigarettes. Almost 200 stores in the province open every day to tutor people into finding a healthier alternative to smoking. They employ 600 to 1,000 people. They generate $50 million in sales in the province, and they do that saving the lives of hundreds of thousands of people in Ontario alone. A scientific study conducted by Public Health England, a government body, has concluded that e-cigarettes are 95% safer than smoking tobacco-based cigarettes. I'm not standing here to protest legislation. I'm not standing here to protest legislation. I'm asking for appropriate legislation. The vaping industry isn't asking to sell to minors. The vaping industry wants adult-only spaces. You can't just light it up and inhale. It requires guidance. It requires tutoring. E-liquid is not tobacco. Let's forget the obvious differences: tar, carbon monoxide, hydrogen cyanide, DDT, or the 4,000 other chemicals not found in e-cigarettes. We're not asking for the right to blow it in someone's face. We're asking for it to be defined as a new consumable product. We're asking for it to be regulated as a new consumable product. Adult-only spaces to tutor people on a healthier alternative. And this is the very tobacco harm reduction tool Smoke-Free Ontario should be begging for. It's the end of big tobacco. So why is our government choosing to cripple a healthier alternative by defining it as the very product we seek to destroy? I'm not a Canadian, I'm not a protester, I'm a Canadian citizen, and I have questions, and I'm confused. Smoking isn't vaping. Thank you for coming today.
Let's give it up for David Richmond Pack. He said everything we are feeling.
Yes.
We have a fourth speaker. We have the lovely Marion. For those of you who work at a vape shop or hang out at a vape shop or own a vape shop, you know that all your customers are not the same. And I think Marion is a good example of someone who is a good representation of the vaping community.
Thank you. I was going to start by saying, I'm Marion and I'm a vapor. I smoked for over 35 years, and I tried to stop for over 35 years, and I succeeded a couple of times, but every time I did, my weight grew, and I became almost elephant-y. And the only way I could lose the weight was by smoking. And I tried and tried, and I just couldn't do it. However, in the spring of 2014, I was getting really tired of waking up in the morning and coughing and choking. And so I went to my doctor, and she gave me a prescription for Champix. Yeah, and I bought it, and then I read the label and the warnings. And I thought, gee, it'd be better to die of smoking than violence or suicide. So instead, I did some research on the internet, maybe a couple of hours, and I got all this information about vaping and how it was safer and how it was easy and pleasurable. So I ordered a starter kit over the internet. And I smoked my last cigarette while the battery was charging. I was so happy. I drew wings. But it was not easy. It's not completely easy because I'm not technical, I'm not mechanical, and I had trouble starting. But then I found a couple of wonderful vape shops, and the people were so friendly and they were so helpful, and they explained what a coil is and why you have to change it every now and again. They pointed out that it's a good idea to clean the equipment occasionally, yeah? And whether to put the liquid in the top or the bottom of the plastic, right? And the level of nicotine that was good so that I wasn't, but I still felt comfortable. And they opened up the wonderful world of flavors for me. You all know that an ex-smoker's taste buds suddenly wake up. Yeah? Yeah. And I discovered Rice Krispie treats and Irish cream and even the wonderful unicorn hearts. Yeah, I've spent many happy hours in the vape stores. I always get advice on power levels, clearomizers, and the difference between a watt and a volt. I try different flavors. I encourage smokers who are in there who are nervous about trying the switch. And I love sharing stories with other vapors in the testing area. Now last April, I was lucky enough to be selected to speak to the committee that was listening to input into Bill 45. And I told them my experience, much as I told you. But I told them several things. First thing was that whoever wrote Bill 45 knows nothing whatsoever about vaping. I did a show and tell with my equipment, pointing out, and several MPPs came to me afterwards to thank me because they said they didn't know what an e-cigarette was. Yeah. However, after the presentation, the government representatives had a chance to ask me questions, you know, and explore it further. And those in the opposition asked quite intelligent questions, actually. But the government representative, she was more interested in telling me an anecdote about the supposed gateway effect. Talk about vapor farts, eh? Unicorn farts, I guess. And she tried to trick me into saying that vapors didn't want any regulation. I told her it was a government's job to make sure that vapors are safe, that we have high qualities of suits and equipment. And I expected that of the government. What I told the committee was, I am so grateful to be free from smoking. And I want all smokers in Canada to have the same chance for freedom and health and confidence that I have. I told them that if Bill 45 had been in effect in April of 2014, I would still be smoking. But nothing in this bill has changed. This is exactly the same ignorant and disgusting and destructive bill that will close vape shops and leave hundreds of thousands of smokers still struggling with the horrible and useless patches and pills. These are not the healthier choice. Okay?
Wow, another fantastic speaker. Thank you very much again, Marion. I'd like to invite up onto the stage now Lori Somerville, please. Big round of applause, please.
Well, it's worthy than I thought. Excellent. Winston Churchill once said, "Courage is what it takes to stand up and speak. Courage is also what it takes to sit down and listen." Vapors have had the courage to stand up and speak. We've written emails, we've written letters, we've shared our stories thousands of times, we've signed our petitions, and we've all made our phone calls. Vapors stood outside MPP offices yesterday sharing our message. Yeah. Now we're asking for the provincial government to have the courage to sit down and listen. Listen to the stories that we're openly sharing. Listen to the studies that are readily available. Hundreds of thousands of vapors worldwide have stopped smoking and switched to vaping. 100,000. And growing, that's right. As co-owner of a vape shop, our customers are as diverse as Canada itself. We hear their stories every day. People dying, people sick, people that are just fed up of being addicted to their cigarettes. They're looking for an alternative. We have it. And when new vapors come back, they bring their friends, they bring their neighbors, their parents, their grandparents. They feel confident in their choice, and their excitement and passion is contagious. Knowledge and experience are powerful teachers. We can quite easily reduce the numbers of smokers in this province and have already started to do so. Vaping could possibly be the very answer the government has not been looking for. Bill 45, specifically Schedule 3, Making Healthier Choices Act, it's a travesty. Where is our choice in this bill? Adults walk through the doors of these shops every day, and they're no more surprised that there's vapor in the air than they are of the smell of beer at a bar. The ban of indoor vaping should not include the very places where people are being educated and guiding on their journey to stop smoking. Vape shops are offering that healthier choice that they're looking for. We already have it, guys. Pay attention. We're creating jobs, we're generating revenue, we're paying our taxes, and we're contributing back to the economy and the community. They trust us enough to make informed decisions at the polls, but somehow when it comes to a personal decision that affects us directly, they think we have no choice. They think we have no voice. I am disappointed that the provincial government has failed to listen to the research on these products and has chosen instead to use emotion over fact, fear-mongering, and downright bullying instead of logic. Our provincial government has taken away our free will. Free to choose and decide for ourselves as adults, taxpayers, and guess what, guys? Voters. Try to ignore us now as we stand together. Winston Churchill also said, if you have an important point to make, don't try to be subtle or clever. Use a pile driver. Hit it once, then come back and hit it again, and then hit it a third time. A tremendous whack. Today is our time to make that tremendous whack because vaping is not smoking.
Fantastic. All right, everyone, let's keep this energy going, please. We're going to do what all vapors love to do. We're going to have a competition, but not a cloud competition.
No cloud competition.
We are splitting you guys up right down the middle. Look at the podium. We have a left side, we have a right side, opposite to your side.
Am I the right side?
Sure, you're the right side.
So I'm going to start.
Sure.
So our side is going to say, pay attention, minister. Let's practice. 1, 2, 3. Pay attention, minister.
In contrast, my side will crush your side and say, vaping saves lives. Come on, guys.
Vaping saves lives!
Let's do it.
So all together it's a message.
Sounds like it.
So ready? 1, 2, 3. Minister.
Vaping saves lives!
Pay attention, minister.
Vaping saves lives!
Pay attention, minister.
Vaping saves lives! Vaping saves lives!
Great job, guys. Now, it's time to hear from the man himself. Karim, would you join us on stage, please? Big round of applause. Keep the energy going.
What's going on, guys? We have a lot of signs in the crowd. Let's get them up. Where are all the signs? Now I can't see anybody. Keep it up. It's easier to talk like this. This location, actually where we're at today, is very dear to my heart. I did my master's degree right here at the Rodman School of Business, and I spent most of my life right there at the downtown, the financial core of Toronto. But there's one difference today. I don't smoke anymore. Never in a million years did I think I'd be standing here today in front of all of you, with you, saying that I do not smoke. I made a commitment in 2009 to my beautiful wife. I told her I gotta find a way to stop smoking. A pack and a half day smoker, easily. God forbid, there were some festivities happening on the weekend. When somebody first introduced me to an electronic cigarette, I looked at it and said, hey, this is not gonna work. This doesn't even make sense. 5 years later, it's not just me. We are proof that these products are revolutionary. We are proof that these products work. And we are proof that we've all made a healthier decision about our own lives. When Bill 45 was proposed in 2014, I started thinking to myself, this is just unjust. These devices have changed millions of lives globally. What are you going to do with us? Are you just going to push us aside? No! There have been thousands, countless studies done globally. We've heard of them already today. There are studies done nationally, globally, showing that these products are revolutionary. They have impacted and changed people's lives. They have impacted our communities. And one point I will bring up about our community is every addiction known to men requires community help to quit. Hell yeah. It is unjust that our government will not look at the stats. Statistically, Wells Fargo is saying by 2024, electronic cigarettes will overtake traditional cigarettes. Respectively, Bloomberg is saying in 2047. This community, these vendors, these people, our community, my vape fam, we are adding hundreds of thousands of dollars into this economy and creating stimulus. We are hiring thousands of Ontarians, providing jobs, all of our vapors, all of our vendors, everybody here is committed to the same cause. We understand regulations are needed, I get it. Underage vaping, it makes sense. However, these regulations need to be just. These regulations need to be equitable. And we are demanding that these regulations are fair. It would be a shame. In fact, I was corrected on this yesterday. It is a shame if Minister Demerla does not go back and look to add exemptions within Bill 45 the way it stands today. Because we all know vaping is not. Today, we stand here fighting for our civil liberties. It is not the last day, and this is not the last fight, because I challenge anybody in this government to come take on my vape fam. Because we will show up wherever we need to, whenever, however we need to, and we will go stand there and come out and shout, vaping is not. Guys, simple in the end, I'll say this very simply. The truth of the matter is, vapors have been promoting a healthier living act before Bill 45. I stand here today as a husband, I'm a father, I'm a son. I'm a Canadian, but most importantly, I'm a vapor. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, this has been so emotional. Crazy 8 days, huh? Okay, with a show of hands, how many of you have put on a hand check on Facebook? I'm guilty. How about you, Charlie?
Oh yeah, of course, of course.
So we were kind of thinking, instead, in the honor or the spirit of a hand check, why don't we do an epic sign check? So I have my phone, but I have to remove it from selfie mode because I'm one of those. Yes, we will tweet it to her. Let's all get together, squeeze in, and let's squeeze those signs high, and let's do the most epic sign check ever.
I'm going to do my first selfie.
Let's be Ellen's selfie. Is everyone back there? Hold on, I have to do that. We're getting our shoes on.
It's out now.
Okay. Ready? Everyone back there?
Thanks, guys.
Alrighty, one more thing. Look around the crowd. This is a huge crowd. I think we've met our target. Give yourself a round of applause, number one. number two, let's remind ourselves that this is only a tiny fraction of vapors in Ontario, and indeed a smaller fraction of vapors across the country. So get your signs in the air, make noise one last time for all the people who couldn't be here today that really wanted to. Lots of noise, come on. We wish they could be here. And now, a word from the woman herself. That's your turn, Marie. Give her a huge round of applause for throwing all this for us.
You're up! I can't promise that I won't cry. The ancient Greek philosopher Aristotle once said, anybody can become angry. That is easy, but to be angry with the right person and to the right degree at the right time for the right purpose in the right way, that's not easy, and it's not within everybody's power. Well, according to this modern Greek vapor, I can say with certainty we have accomplished just that today. Just over a year ago, the Liberal government, led by Associate Minister Demerla, released Bill 45 and Ontario's Healthier Choices Act, which included Section 3, the Electronic Cigarette Act. Boo. We were angry, and we knew who we were angry with. That was Minister Demerla. Since the announcement of Bill 45, collectively we have tried to have our voices heard. We followed the rules. We asked to attend committee hearings. We met with MPPs in our home ridings. We wrote letters to all members of provincial parliament. We reached out to local media to share our stories. Yet, the government, the very individuals that set forth to create healthier choices for Ontarians, were making it clear that vaping would not be an option for us. They have chosen to give us no healthier choices when it comes to smoking. And then the government does not understand why we are angry. What? WTF? They do not understand our outrage. Mere hours after Bill 45 regulations were released, a group emerged, created by two people, Ashley and Shane. Well, there's Ashley, there's Shane. Two people that were angry and chose to put their idea of a protest out there on a little social media page called Facebook. I spoke to Ashley, I think about 24 hours after people started paying attention to the Vapor Advocates of Ontario, and she said, my goal and our goal was just to make sure that this protest was bigger than her. Well guys, let's just take a look around us. I can say with confidence, Ashley and Shane, you have achieved that goal today. Thank you. Oh my God, I made Ashley cry. In 8 short days, 1,000+ people found their way to work together with a common purpose to let the Ontario provincial government know that vaping is not smoking. Vaping is not a gateway to smoking. Vaping is not a gateway to marijuana. I don't even know where they came up with that one. And most especially, vaping is magnitude safer than smoking cigarettes. Yes! Minister, I ask that you pay attention to the growing body of evidence that quite clearly shows that vaping is magnitude safer than smoking. To wake up and be accountable to the mistakes in Bill 45 and specifically the Electronic Cigarette Act. To educate yourselves on the facts, and I beg you, put your ego aside and realize that the only legacy, that you are heading towards a legacy of hundreds of thousands of unnecessary tobacco deaths in the province of Ontario alone. Minister, it is not enough to just pay attention. You must smarten up.
Well, everyone, whose glove is this? Well, I have the microphone. Oh, it's your glove. That concludes our structured speeches for the day, but we still have a bit of work to do, if you wouldn't mind. I think the first thing we should do is let's get our back and forth contest on one more time. So pay attention, Minister.
So we are, actually, let's switch sides. You can pay attention and we will say...
I'm not nearly smart enough for this, but okay. Pay attention, Minister.
What was the other one that we did?
Vaping saves lives.
Okay. You go first. Vaping saves lives, correct?
We are pay attention, Minister, and much louder, right?
Oh no, guys, if anybody knows me, I have to win all the time and be the best at everything, so don't let me down.
Here we go.
Pay attention, Minister! Vaping saves lives! Pay attention, Minister! Vaping saves lives! Pay attention, Minister! Vaping saves lives! Pay attention, Minister! Vaping saves lives!
I'm just going to stay with this mic. Great work, everyone. Thank you very much. So, a couple things before we have some final closing statements. I don't want the last thing I say to be dry and boring. So, please remember, if you brought any garbage, please take it with you when you leave. Be respectful. When we all take off here, the buses are going to get a bit cramped when they start rolling through. We have to do some thank yous. The first thank you, these are all off the top of my head, is look around to anyone with a neon green armband. These are our marshals. They did a great job today. Not only, round of applause for the marshals, not only fulfilling a legal requirement, but doing their duty to help out with the event, and we appreciate that. We also have to thank our organizers. I know we have several times, but one more time, a round of applause for everyone involved. This is a blanket thank you, everyone involved. And please, a huge thank you, of course, to Maria, who works tirelessly to do things like this. Let's make this one, though, a thank you to all the vape shops, to the shops themselves that day in, day out, they do the grind. I do it myself. I know it's not always the easiest job, but it is very rewarding. But that's why we're here, to support your vape shops. Please keep supporting your local vape shops. Big round of applause for all vape shops, vape owners, vape employees. And finally, a very special round of applause for anyone that helped you to get started on vaping. Some people, you did it yourself and you're the pioneers. Others, it took someone else. Thank you. A lot of Marias here, that's great. Two more announcements.
Who has the book? Does anybody have the book? Please get that book back towards the front of the stage. If you want to share your story, share your testimonial about vaping, the camera is towards the middle, right down there. There's some signs around it. Share your story. It's just going to take a couple of minutes, and video can be so powerful when it comes to storytelling. And you never know, someone may connect with you and stop smoking and switch to vaping because of your words. That's how much power each and every single one of us here today have.
And finally, this one's for my mom, believe it or not. Believe it or not. My mom knows that I very, very seldom admit when I'm wrong. But I'm going to do it on national television and newspapers, everything like that. I was wrong, Mom. When I started my speech, I said we couldn't possibly have a single voice. And I really believed it. I didn't do it just for this corny bit. I really did believe it. But after hearing everyone talk and the response, it seems like we are all on the same page. We know what needs to be done. Because it's 2015 from this guy. Thank you. So how many of you here today think that today was a success? I honestly couldn't agree more. And I did forget to thank CBA, of course, for all their support as well. And ECTA and THRA and Vapor Advocates of Ontario, there's so many great advocacy organizations, and that's where I was going with this. After the success of today, and I truly believe we have made a difference and we will continue to make a difference, so many positive things will come from what you all did, or you all took part in today. This is going to continue across the provinces, I believe, maybe across the country, obviously it's the same thing. It's going to continue across the world as well, because this is definitely not the end. This is barely the beginning, as you all know. So please, as we continue our efforts here to affect positive regulations, positive change, please help your fellow vapors across the country. If you're a graphic designer, if you're a media person, if you can help in any way, do what you can to help our fellow Canadians and world citizens as this stage moves across. Like I said one last time, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you for coming today. We couldn't have done this without you, obviously. Thank you for enduring the cold. And one more big one. Oh, here's the book coming around. We need one last Vaping Saves Lives, as loud as you can, please. Signs in the air, as loud as you can. 1, 2, 3.
Vaping Saves Lives!
Thank you once again.
Thank you, everybody.